well. But anyway, well, what time of the meeting be? Like 3 or something? 15, I think. It should be fun. I think. It's like, yeah, I have to do like meetings once a month for parents, but it's at night. It's like 6 o'clock. Because I was panicked because I thought it was going to be the same as Board of Ed, but it's not. It's Wednesdays. Every time I see it, not just like you do. Week to week, you can see a difference. Is it me? I gotta go to work. Okay, you do. That's it. It's a little bit right. This way. Right with you. Yeah, I need her. Yeah. I didn't eat dinner. I'm so sorry. Sorry.
No. This is a cocktail party?
How's everybody doing?
It is very quiet.
Okay, you can all smile. It's all good. It's Tuesday night. The little ones are out, right, guys?
It's warmer.
Nice. Okay. Just taking. Okay. Hey. Okay. So, good afternoon, good evening, good day. We are the Board of Education, but I want to welcome all of you and happy days, and welcome to the Marlboro Township Board of Education regular meeting. Today is May 22nd, 2022, 7 p.m. at Marlboro Memorial Middle School. Good evening, Vin.
Good evening, Dr. Heller. Good
How are
evening,
you?
everybody.
Can you please call to order?
Sure. Roll call vote. Mrs. Amster?
Here.
Mrs. Branch?
Here. Here.
Mr. Petruno?
Here.
Ms. Piernick?
Here.
Mrs. Rosato?
Here.
Mrs. Shrem?
Here.
Mrs. Salaci? Mrs. Strafasi?
Here.
And Dr. Heller?
Here. I will now read Sunshine Law. Be advised that this meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975, Sunshine Law, and that the adequate notice of the date, time, and agenda has been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the News Transcript, and has been posted and filed with the Marlboro Township Clerk. Copies have also been sent to each district school and other area newspapers in accordance with the law. I am not going to read in full, but I will bring to your attention statement of videotaping a public portion of Board of Education meeting, public comment statements, no smoking or vaping on school grounds. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Positive quote. The positive thinker sees invincible, feels intangible, and achieves the possibility. Winston Churchill. Student recognition. We welcome some of the amazing schools in the district with a small sample of our students doing positive things. First, let's begin with Asher Holmes and allow them to introduce themselves.
Mrs. Sony, come on up. Yeah.
Good evening, Board of Ed and all attendants. I am here to recognize Ms. Gabby Kapelnian. She is one of the Achieve 3000 Spring to Success contest winners. She is one of 20 students in the nation that won this award. In order to win this award, she had to read and complete 2 different articles and score at least 75% on her first try, which is not a difficult feat for Gabby, because I did a little digging in her Achieve 3000 file, and I realized that this month, every article that she has read so far, she has not scored less than an 88% on her first try.
Ooh.
And I don't know if she knows this, but her current Lexile score is that of a junior or senior in high school. And I also don't know if she knows that soon there will be a gift from Achieve 3000 that will be delivered to Asher, and it's really cool. It is, and I don't know, this is not my thing, so I don't know the name of it, but it is a drone. How cool is that? She did know it was a drone. So when it gets delivered to Asher, we'll present it to her, and she's going to have a great time with it. But beyond Achieve 3000, what I can tell you about Gabby is that her teachers and her fellow classmates would say that she is the quintessential Asher Colt. She is kind, she's responsible, she's hardworking, she's respectful. And she deserves this recognition and many more that are going to come in her future. So congratulations, Gabby.
That is unbelievable. Congratulations. I'm so jealous about the drone. I really am.
She lives in town.
Yes, yeah, that's true. So next we have Marlboro Elementary. If you can please introduce yourselves.
And coming up is Principal Mitch Schatz and School Counselor Michelle Mondoro. Thank you for coming, everybody.
Most importantly, come on up, kids. So I'll talk a little bit to save some time while they're coming up here, but throughout the March month, we've celebrated our Pillars of Kindness. So if you don't know, our district has these Pillars of Kindness, and at Marlboro Elementary School, we have a motto: we are the home of the kind kids, and that's an acronym actually. KIND is Kids Involved in Nice Deeds. So every month we celebrate this. And this month, we are honoring this group of children here. And I want you to know that our school, being the home of the kind kids, it's a motto, and it's also something that's literally in the fabric of our school, because it's in the carpet. It says it. We're the home of the kind kids. But I want to switch over now to our counselor. This is Mrs. Mondoro, because she really does a phenomenal job leading social, emotional character development in our building, which this is really what this is all about. So I'll pass the mic to her real quick.
Thank you, Mr. Schatz. Thank you, everyone, for having us tonight. So this month, Marl not only celebrated the character trait of trustworthiness, but we also spent time recognizing another important event, which was Social Emotional Learning, or SEL Day, which took place on March 11th. In the week leading up to SEL Day, we challenged teachers and their classes to make time for mindfulness in their classrooms. By taking on and sticking to this challenge, our entire school community was able to display trustworthiness and accountability. Here's a short video of an overview of this month's activities that was created by Dr. Kristen Bury.
All month long at Marlboro Elementary School, students learned about the character pillar of trustworthiness. To kick off the month, 26 classrooms at Marlboro Elementary School took the Commit to 1% challenge. Teachers and students in these classrooms made a promise to take 10 minutes each day to commit to mindfulness-based social emotional learning. For 1 week, each day, teachers and students would mark their certificates to show that they were accountable to their mental health and well-being. We want to give a special shout out to Mrs. Lisnow's kindergarten class, who won $50 from educating mindfully after taking the Commit to 1% challenge. And to all of our 4th grade classrooms who took the challenge and created a mindfulness bulletin board featuring their gratitude jars. And last but not least, our 12 Kind Kids of the Month who were nominated by their teachers for being trustworthy.
So at this time, we're going to present our official Kind Kids certificates so we can recognize their achievement. So I'll read their names off. Counselor Munder will hand them off to the kids. So we've got, and why don't you guys wave when I call your name, okay? So Sasha Betterow, Nathan Slotowitz, Jake Koresh, Aurora Fleischer, Jackson Gale, Dara Silver, Alexander Grundling, Juliana Pafundi, and I have 3 who could not be with us but should also be recognized, and that's Micah Tylek, Juliet Scarpati, Daniela Ali, and sorry, a 4th, Tin Yu Wang. So thank you. So at this time, we're going to have our Kind Kids share with you why they were nominated, and they're going to actually share their teacher's words.
Hi, my name is Juliana Pafundi. My teacher, Mrs. Soboslai, nominated me this month. She said Juliana's classmates can trust her because she is always fair, kind, and helpful. Juliana can continually be counted on to do the right thing, like helping her peers with work and specifically helping an injured student with note-taking. I was also nominated this year for showing citizenship and kindness. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alex Grunling. My teacher, Miss Morrison, nominated me this month. She said, Alex shows trustworthiness when working independently with partners or within a small group. He is sure to always be on task, doing the right thing at all times, and with little guidance from teachers. I was also nominated this year for showing kindness. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dara Silver. My teacher, Miss Straley, nominated me this month. She said, Dara is trustworthy. She is reliable and honest. She can also be trusted to do the right things, even when nobody's watching. For example, when there's a substitute in the room, I often leave Dara's name as a person the teacher can contact with questions. I trust that she will continue to act the way we have established as expected in our classroom. I was also nominated this year for showing responsibility. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jackson. My teacher, Mrs. Simon, nominated me this month. She said, Jackson is one of the most trustworthy students in the class. He's always honest and reliable. Jackson is honest even when it's not the easiest thing to do. He always tells the truth to teachers, parents, and classmates. I always nominated this year for showing responsibility. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aurora Fleischer. My teacher, Miss Siver, nominated me this month. She said Aurora is one of the most trustworthy students in the class. She is always honest and reliable. She is an all-round trustworthy student that is always 100% reliable, even when she shows nobody is watching. When there is a substitute in the class, I leave a note for the sub to ask her questions about how the class runs. I was also nominated this year for showing responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, you guys did an amazing job. Thank you so much. And you parents should be very proud of your children. What I'm going to ask you guys to do, because I try to encourage people for positivity and everything, let's stand for the kids. Kids, you sit. Adults, let's clap. To be honest with you, this is what we should be looking for. Okay? Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, lastly, we have Marlboro Middle School, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Nowacki. I'm the principal of middle school, and here with me is Mr. Tagenhorst, one of our vice principals, as well as Mrs. Farrington, who has been an art teacher at our school for several years. If you have an opportunity to walk through our middle school, you will see murals all over all 3 floors of our school, and these are projects created by students under the tutelage of Mrs. Farrington. I'm going to say a kind, awesome word about Mrs. Farrington in that she was selected this year to participate in a grant program for art teachers amongst the state of New Jersey, and she's working in a mentorship program with professional artists and others bringing art to our middle school. So congratulations to Mrs. Farrington, too. I have to say that as well. Part of what Mrs. Farrington's interests are working with Monmouth County in the art program. And so from that area of competition, Mrs. Farrington invites her students every year to participate. And this year we had awesome results. Mrs. Farrington.
All right, thank you so much. So, Dr. Hibbs, administrators, Board of Ed, thank you for having us here tonight, and thank you for the support that you give the K-8 Visual Arts program. We really appreciate it. I love doing what I do here, so it's been a great pleasure. Youth Art Month is a celebration of the visual arts in our schools and the young artists who create it. It was founded in 1961 to encourage support for quality art programs. It wants to recognize the skills that are developed through the visual arts courses and experiences are unique and include problem solving, creativity, observation, and effective communication. The Art Educators of New Jersey celebrate Youth Art Month each year through both county and state programs highlighting art education in our schools. This year, the Art Educators of New Jersey sponsored county and state virtual art shows in which teachers could submit students' work. Marlboro Middle School was lucky enough to have 4 students who are standing right here behind me, Carolyn, Lexi, Jordan, and Arilyn, whose work was chosen to represent us in the county show. Furthermore, 8th grader Arilyn Cortez's piece was chosen as one of 5 pieces from across the county, K-12, to go on to represent Monmouth County in the state virtual exhibition, which is an awesome, awesome honor, because we're talking K-12 across the entire state. So, congratulations. I am so proud and honored to work with these students and all of the work that they continue to do each and every day. So you guys all deserve a huge round of applause.
Just say that the artwork that's at your school is unbelievable, the murals and everything. I mean, it really is amazing, and that you should be proud and the kids should be proud about it. If you haven't had an opportunity and you're welcome, I mean, it's really nice.
Thank
you. Really
Thank
cool.
you for saying that. They
Yeah.
worked so hard on it.
Yes.
It's also my pleasure this evening to welcome Mrs. Haston, who has been an honors science teacher at the middle school for many years. Mrs. Haston, come on up. Mrs. Haston has, so Mrs. Haston also contributes hours and hours and hours working with students in participation in many science contests each year, especially the Explore Vision contest. And it's my honor to introduce Mrs. Haston, who's going to share with you a little bit about the projects, as well as introduce our student award winners who did an awesome job.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, members of the board, Superintendent, Mrs. Milwaukee, Mr. Tackenhorst, for inviting us. This is truly an honor to be here. These kids are amazing. Besides being enrolled in very challenging academic programs, they had put in an enormous amount of time to do such a fantastic job with their projects. Toshiba Explorer Vision has been around for a while. It's a national competition. It is for students from kindergarten through 12th grade. It is divided into several categories. They are in the category of 7th grade through 9th grade, and 2 7th grade teams and 1 8th grade team received honorable mention, which means that their projects were in the top 10% nationally. So this was an amazing feat for them. They have to take a real-world problem. It's heavy in STEM, and they have to project 20 years into the future. I could barely think beyond tomorrow, and envision how this particular technology is going to change. And it takes a lot of research, collaborative work, brainstorming. Some of their projects, I look at them and I'm thinking, wow, this is impossible. And then I remember reading a motivational saying, it always seems impossible until it's done. So we'll have to see some of these things we may be seeing in the future. One of the projects, the 8th grade team, was called One Inoculation for Allergy Emancipation. And I asked them, why did they choose that? And it just seems that today there are so many people that suffer with so many allergies, and some of them can be really, really severe. And so they thought, we do so much with antibiotics and vaccines, let's see what we can do with this. So they came up with an idea for an injection that would alter the body's natural reaction to allergens without totally suppressing the immune system. It would involve taking a blood test, extracting and harvesting the B cells, that type of macrophage that creates the antibodies, and then to expose that material to a number of antigens, quite a few antigens. They would then, from that information, be able to fabricate protein receptor blockers, and then a personalized shot would be fabricated for them, inserted into their subcutaneous tissue by means of a lipid carrier. Lipid carriers would remain suspended in the hypodermis, gradually eluting both the protein receptor blockers and allergen-specific macrophage destroyers over time. This also opens the doors for medications for many immune deficiency diseases. So that was a mouthful, guys. You did a great job. Very nice. And that team consisted of Melanie Miyahara, Sydney Cohen, Samantha Steinglass, and Gabrielle Garçon. Just raise your hand a minute so they can see who you are. There you go. All right. Next we have here Spoil Foil. And the team is comprised of Grant Stastny, Jay Croft, Casey Leshin, and Talon Sharma. Just raise your hand there. There we go. Well, that was easy enough. The only boys, right? Well, they have visualized a special type of saran wrap that would indicate if food has gone bad and then prevent food poisoning. Using an anthocyan powder embedded into the saran, it could detect food spoilage based on pH levels. Certain bacteria thrive in different pH levels, and then the powder that's embedded would change colors. All of these colors can actually indicate which bacteria had formed. I don't know about you, but my refrigerator would probably be a rainbow. But based on the color change, again, the bacteria would be determined. I think maybe next year, maybe you guys can think about putting a sound to it for those people that are colorblind, and then we can have a color rainbow and a symphony going on at the same time. All right, so the next is, let's see, we have our palsy pods, and that is Hannah Kurian, Kushi Patel, and Valerie. Just raise your hand a second so they can see who you are. All right. And it's just amazing how caring these three young ladies are. And they took on the topic of cerebral palsy. And knowing that these children have difficulty with hearing and communicating to their peers, they came up with a prototype that is kind of like homologous to a cochlear implant, and that this device would allow information to be translated for them. Now, this is the part that I think is amazing, if it can ever happen, in taking their thoughts and using neurosensors, change that to vibrations that can be turned into words. Wouldn't that be amazing? I may be in trouble sometimes is what I'm thinking. I don't know. But I think that it is an amazing idea, and I think that all of them did a wonderful job with their projects. It's an 11-page paper, 5 web pages. It's an amazing amount of work with all the other work they have to do. So great job, guys. If it wasn't for Grant, I would have shown up at the Board of Ed office tonight. Where is Jake and Talon and Casey? There you go. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's unbelievable. These are our students, nobody else. This is ours, so we should be really proud of that and what these kids have accomplished. So what I'm going to do to make everybody happy is I'm going to make a motion to take 5 minutes recess. So ladies and gentlemen, your kids can go home. You can go enjoy, do whatever you need to, enjoy the nice weather. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second? That's Susie. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Say aye. We will take a 5-minute recess. Thank you very much, kids. We really appreciate it. Educators and parents. Okay, welcome back. Vin, can you please do roll call?
Sure.
Yep.
Yep, roll call. Mrs. Amster?
Here.
Mrs. Branch?
Here.
Mr. Petruno?
Here.
Miss Piernick? Here. Mrs. Rosato?
Here.
Mrs. Shrem?
Here.
Mrs. Trafasi?
Here.
And Dr. Heller?
Here. Mr. Balone, student impact, please.
Dr. Heller. As we do at every regular meeting, we have a student impact section.
Page 4.
This one comes from Robertsville Elementary School. March has been to honor all the accomplishments and contributions women have made throughout history and even today. Fourth grade artists at Robertsville have been studying portraiture, which will be explained in the video. So please enjoy a short video highlighting their beautiful work.
There is no doubt that people in our lives make a humongous difference in it. After all, think about our parents, our families, our teachers. The month of March has been deemed a very special month for very special people. March is Women's History Month. While everyone's impact on the world around us matters, March celebrates women specifically. It serves as a time to honor all contributions women have made throughout history and even today.
Fourth grade artists at Robertsville have been celebrating Women's History Month in the art room. With Miss Fenimore, we have been studying portraiture and creating our own portraits of women we view as real-life heroes. Women who we are not too sure what we do without.
Portraiture is a genre of art that has been around for thousands of years. Technically, they even date back to cave paintings. However, it is an art style that continues to flourish today. Whether it be Kehinde Wiley's work titled President Barack Obama or our very own real-life hero portraits.
My name is Gemma, and I'm celebrating my mom for my hero. I'm celebrating my mom because she inspires me in so many ways, and she always finds time for me. We spent the last few weeks sketching each portrait feature by feature. We took our time to carefully draw, assess, erase, and edit along our art-making journey.
It is so important to have a hero. There is someone you admire, someone you count on, someone you love, someone that means the world to you. Through this art-making project, we had the opportunity to honor those special women. Specifically, even though March is Women's History Month, these amazing women deserve to be celebrated to far more than just 1 month.
For Women's History Month, I am celebrating my mom, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks.
They are real-life heroes.
Shout out to Mrs. Georges back there and Robertsville. Thank you so much, guys. You want to come up? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming out too. Mr. Balone, curriculum department announcements.
Mike, let me jump in first, okay? And then you can go. I want to take a sec and give a quick announcement that CPAG will be hosting a special event at Marlboro Middle. All students with special needs can preview a special viewing of Aladdin on March 29th between 2:45 and 4:15. Parents can bring their children to preview all or parts of the play before opening night. So, and information will be out as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Keller. Backed by popular demand, as we did last year, the after-school Read Aloud program will begin this spring to engage students through Read Aloud sessions that inspire the joy of reading at all reading levels. We had to slightly modify the time frame, so we had to push it back 1 week. So it will begin early April. That change just came through today. So it will begin early April and go through early June. So the same time frame was pushed back 1 week. Time sessions will begin around 4:30 and they'll finish up by 7 p.m. on designated days. So please look out for that information coming soon. In addition, Marlboro Township will be hosting another hackathon on Thursday, March 24th, so just 2 days from now, from 2:30 to 5 p.m. at Marlboro Middle School. While the event will take place across town, we have over 60 students in grades 6 through 8 from both middle schools who are scheduled to attend. If you're not sure what a hackathon is, it's an event that brings individuals together to solve a problem or improve on something that already exists using computer programming skills. So in addition to learning computer skills, hackathons are a great way for socialization while hopefully making the world a better place. That's all I have.
Okay, I had a couple before I hand it over to Vin. So from the Special Services Department, we're going to have our after-school social skills for students with disabilities. So we're excited to start the after-school social skills program for students with disabilities. This program runs on Wednesdays from April 27th through May 25th. Please note that enrollment for the program is now closed. No cost to kids or parents. It will be provided by the district. Parents will be asked to provide transportation to and from the social program location. Students will work on foundational skills in order to continue to interact with their peers and address core competencies such as self-awareness and social awareness in order to process thoughts, feelings, and stressors. Each social skills program will be individualized based on student need. If you signed your child up, you'll receive an email shortly telling you where the program will be located and who your social skills group leader will be. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to the Special Services Department. And lastly for me, but certainly very importantly, Disabilities Awareness Month. April is Disabilities Awareness Month. Each building will be celebrating differences with activities throughout the month. Activities will include the following. April 1st and April 5th, grades 2 through 8 will have guest speaker Timothy Rohr present virtually on disability awareness education. April 11th, grades pre-K through 1 will have inclusive mystery readers of all abilities for the Drop Everything and Read event. For the week of April 25th, there will be a Chalk the Walk event with messages of kindness and inclusion for all to see. Thank you, Vin and Chris, for getting a sidewalk chalk. Every Friday in April will be Friendship Friday, where students will wear school spirit wear and colors to celebrate unity. Throughout the month, students and staff will work together in a bulletin board blitz to spread the word on celebrating differences. Be on the lookout for featured bulletin boards and door decor featured on the district website and social media. The Walk for Change will take place at each building on April 14th, sponsored by Scope. And additionally, each building has been provided with classroom materials and resources for teachers to use throughout the month. So a lot going on for that very important month. And the last one for me, I couldn't remember if I did it or not, but I wanted to give a shout out to DeFino, who raised over $15,000 for the American Heart Association. So massive shout out. And Dr. Stradek, who was at a recent board meeting, dyed his hair blue for that. So he lit it up all blue. He looked good. He looked good. So that's me. Off to Vin.
Okay, thank you. Vinny, child nutrition waiver, please.
Yep, so just a few things. So the USDA waiver that was started at the start of COVID, allowing free meals and free snacks, was failed to be passed at Congress, so an extension failed. So for the 22-23 school year, it'll be going back to normal with paid lunches and paid snacks. The second one, the Fair Check certification, just a big shout out to Vinny and his team, all the Chartwell's employees. They all were able to obtain certification in Fair Check. So Fair Check is a program that reviews and certifies all of the food allergies that are used in the district. They take a bunch of training materials and it's a pretty extensive program that they go through. And it's developed by the Food Allergy Research and Education, also known as FAIR. And it is offered through Chartwell's K through 12, so they were able to take advantage of that, and all of them were able to be fully certified. The third, just the update on the Promethean active panels. So our district has successfully installed 129 active panels. There were 60 panels installed at the K through 2 level and 69 in special education across the district. So the K through 2 active panels were used using the ESSER funds, and the 69 special education classrooms were funded through the extraordinary aid. We have begun to upgrade our electronic boards, so a lot of the smart boards that are obsolete, we're continuing to see how we can implement Promethean boards. They are about 4,000 a pop, so we try to maneuver as best we can, but we can't promise that we're going to do any next year, but we're definitely actively looking on how we can make it work for the next grade levels. school bus driver and building maintenance personnel and motor vehicle abstracts. So all abstracts were run and all have privileges in good standing. And then lastly, the school security grant. So we were awarded from the state of New Jersey $255,929. We were able to utilize that grant and upgrade all of our exterior cameras. So that is actually happening now until the end of the school year.
Thank you very much, Ben, for all that. We're going to go to public speaking. Those who wish to...
Am I able to just ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Vin, with the school lunch, the item that didn't pass for next year, is that going to have, will that have an impact on the budget binder that we're reviewing at the moment?
No. So it's an enterprise fund, so it's just a pass-through fund that's completely separate from anything in the budget binder.
All right, thank you.
Anybody have any other questions? I see none. So we're going to move to public speaking. Those who wish to speak should state their full name and place of residence. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Please use the timer in front to be mindful of your time. Members of the public should be respectful and avoid back and forth or debate with administration professionals or board members responding to the inquiry or comment. We will respond when necessary once the individual has completed their statement. Again, no back and forth, be respectful and civil. School board members will withhold comment until after public comments. Vin?
Sure. First up, Mrs. Kerry Jankowski.
Yeah. And you can take it out too, Kara, if you want.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hi, Carrie Jankowski, 25 Whitman Road. I've spoken before you several times, but I'm here tonight to speak to you and introduce myself as one of the new co-leaders of our Marlboro CPAG organization, along with Miss Angie Colby Vysotsky, all three, and Robin Bornstein. The three of us are now co-leading the CPAG. So, along the lines, I wanted to let everybody, the community and Board of Ed members, know that we are in the process of a reorganization. We have already sent an email to Dr. Blair, who has responded. Thank you. The CPAG section of the MTPS website is already being updated, and we have created a central email, which is mtps.cpag@gmail.com. So that goes to all of us. So there's not one email per person. It's centralized. We are all deeply honored to help represent CPAG and all the parents and students whose hearts are with special education. We wanted to especially thank Dr. Hibbs and Dr. Blair for approving the CPAG viewing of Aladdin at Marlboro Middle School. Thank you for your announcement. We would also like to raise up Mrs. Milwaukee, the principal of Old Middle, for being a trailblazer. This is the first of these types of performances and hopefully not the last. Mrs. Milwaukee is already planning for the future of these type of inclusion activities. I would like to also thank personally Angie Colby for spearheading this idea. This was her brainstorm and she brought it to fruition. So thank you very much, Angie. You're amazing. She worked very hard on this. Doing things like this not only build inclusion, but they just build our community in general. So from the bottom of our hearts, we deeply thank you for approving and supporting this. Baby steps. So we hope this performance, which is open to all, as Dr. Hibbs said, all pre-K to 8 students with an IEP and or 504 plan. During the performance, it'll be almost like a dress rehearsal for the students. There won't be any loud microphones, any flashing lights. It'll be very sensory friendly, and students are able to walk around if need be. They can exit and come and go if they require movement breaks. So we're all very excited about this. So lastly, our new reorganized CPAG is looking forward to working with and making positive changes for special education alongside all the administrators, supervisors, counselors, therapists, educators, and all of you Board of Education members. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Vin?
Sure. Next up is Miss Sasha Grant.
Sasha Grant, 8 Sudbury Road. Good evening, Board of Ed. In light of the recent update to the backpack policy, I would like to say thank you for taking into consideration our concerns and addressing them. I appreciate your time in listening to our request and showing care. Many students don't think they have a voice, and it is important for them to know that they can, in fact, speak up for their beliefs. However, in the past few days, I have seen a multitude of students being warned for wearing backpacks that are too large. To avoid confusion among students and parents, can we please be provided with a guide as to the measurements of a backpack that will suffice? Again, I really do appreciate it. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Finn?
So next up is Mrs. Janelle Moschella.
Hi, Janelle Michella, over 35 years of resident in Homedale. Imagine, if you can, that you're visiting a neighboring country whose societal and cultural norms have always been identical to yours. Upon visiting, you'd expect civility, respect, equal communication amongst peers, and a degree of empathy when appropriate. Instead, you enter this neighboring country and find it entirely hostile. What the people at home don't see, and you cleverly hid, is the abusive atmosphere experienced by the parents in this room. They are belittled, interrupted, and monitored like prisoners infected with the plague. They were even scolded when their mask fell below their nose. It is something I have never experienced before and is quite disturbing. I came maskless in support of this community's children, and after civil, kind, respectful discussion with the police and security in the hall as to not disrupt your meeting, I was denied my constitutional rights. Told my rights were not honored inside this building. Amazed and in shock, I complied, taking a seat amongst other parents who can only be described as defeated. I watched as mothers and fathers came up to this very microphone and begged for their medical exemptions to be honored, exemptions which were written by their personal family doctors as true medical conditions existed for their children. Pleading for relief and help, they were instead denied their medical rights and instead informed of a designated mask break section in the gymnasium. That is why I am here again tonight, to advocate for children. The masking that was forced on our children, which has caused what psychologists are terming the invisible child, will have long-term profound effects on our children. For your education and research, I will be emailing multiple peer-reviewed double-blind studies which show that masks do not have any effect on the spread of the coronavirus. Sorry, my printer broke. As well as peer-reviewed studies of the physical and psychological harm caused by prolonged masking, specifically on children. Masking was arbitrarily forced on our children in the school setting and nowhere else by draconian, unconstitutional mandates and enforced by administrators like yourselves and police like the gentleman in the back, who all took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution, yet willingly negated that oath. And do any of us feel silly now that with the counting of poll numbers like the wave of a wand, the masks are gone? It seems as though while some of us go to church on Sunday to try to pray to God to heal this beautiful nation and this insane world that we're living in, others of us are making their debut on fear-peddling, discredited morning media shows, trying to save face by playing victim, when in reality, they're the abuser. You can portray me however you'd like, but I stand firm in my convictions. To those of you who know me, know I will always stand up for those who cannot defend themselves. I unapologetically fight for the betterment of children, and I will never apologize for speaking out against any form of abuse. What I saw and experienced last month was gross abuse, and my reaction was to that. I advise you, as my time is up, to please visit the New Jersey State Constitution, Articles 1, Sections 1, 2, and 5, as well as Article 4, Section 7. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vin?
Yep, I have no one on the list or electronically.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak? I see none. I'd like to take a motion to close public comments. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Christina? Any discussion? I see none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Would anyone from the board like to comment? Dr. Hibbs included? No?
Just very quickly, Carrie, thank you very much. That was very nice. Sasha, Mrs. Nowacki will be happy to address what too large is. A large backpack is really kind of just that, a huge backpack. So medium-sized is good to go. Large is not, but she'll be happy to address that. And then lastly, I just want to go on the record that You mentioned something about us not honoring medical exemptions. That is just simply not true. Sir.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to be moving on. Communications, Dr. Hibbs.
No, sir.
Okay. Dr. Hibbs, superintendent report, please.
Sure. 2 incidents between March 3rd, 2022 and March 16th, 2022.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Hibbs, harassment, intimidation, bullying,
Yep,
Oh, yeah, that was it? Okay, I got lost in the shuffle there. Okay, there we go. So, meeting dates, Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, workshop meeting. Tuesday, April 26th, 2022, regular meeting. Aldo, can you please read approval of minutes?
Be it resolved that the minutes of the following meetings be approved as submitted. February 22nd, 2022, regular and executive.
I so move.
I so move.
Do I have a second? Jill, do I have any discussion? I see none. Vin, roll call, please.
Mrs. Amster?
Yes.
Mrs. Branch?
Yes.
Ms. Piernick?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosado?
Yes.
Mrs. Shrem?
Yes.
Mrs. Strafasi?
Yes.
Mr. Petruno?
Yes.
And Dr. Heller?
Yes. Christina, can you please read policy development and community relation matters, please?
Discussion, school memo.
Where is that?
We're on Secretary Business Administrator's report.
Oh, I apologize. My bad. Discussion, Vin, 2022-23 school year budget memo, please.
Sure. So I sent everyone a memo on March 18th. That was budget memo number 2, just basically explaining the situation of where we're at with the budget. So we did receive our state aid numbers on March 10th. So our state aid numbers came in at $7,713,218. So that is a reduction of $910,553. So basically, this reduction is $159,000 lower than what was anticipated when we were building that budget. Remember, when we were discussing building the budget based off of the S2 calculations, we were set to lose a little over $1 million. Well, it did come in lower than what was expected, which is a good thing. The next thing that was described in the budget memo is what they're calling Chapter 44 tax relief. So this is new that the state is imposing on districts. What they're doing is they're asking us to submit data, and when we submit data from our state health plans, they are looking at to see if we saved money based off of Chapter 44. Now, Chapter 44 was rolled out in July 1 of 2020. That is when, if any state employee were to go into public service, they would have to go into the educator health plan, which is a type of plan that the state developed to try to save money. Right now, we only had about over 100 employees that went into that. So the savings was not what they were interpreting it as. They were interpreting it as a little over $632,000. What we were interpreting was that we really only saved about $81,000 based off of if someone were to be on our base plan, which is Direct 15, but instead they chose EHP. So that's where we're seeing what the savings actually would have been. We're getting $81,000 from that. So we're challenging what the state is saying to us. So we should get a response back within the next couple of weeks, hopefully by the end of this week, basically to see if we've won the challenge or not. So right now, as it goes, we have to approve the budget with a decrease of $632,000 in it. That's what's on here tonight for the tentative budget. In the final budget approval on April 26th, we will put a new number on there determining what the state says. Now, everybody will be notified on what exactly happens. As soon as we get the notification from the state, I'll send the budget memo out to everyone explaining exactly where we are at. But right now we had to, just because the budget resolution has to match what we submit to the state via electronically, so those two right now have to match. So of course on the computer side I had to deduct the $632,000 well, because that's where it's giving me that determination. That's where we got that information from. So that's where that memo explained that. The third section of this memo was the charter school. So again, when we get our state aid notice, we also get our charter school notice. That came in about $22,000 higher than anticipated. Basically, they give us, the state will determine how many students are going to the charter school, and then we have to budget appropriately based on the notice. The last piece of that was the HVAC project, where we broke out how exactly we're paying for this. So of course, from all the other meetings, we are using ARP ESSER funds, the $868,000 towards HVAC. We also were able to secure an SDA emergent grant towards the HVAC and another $109,000. And then the remainder of that is coming from the capital reserve and maintenance reserve from the 22-23 budget, which you'll see is number 2 and number 3 on the financial and business agenda on this meeting. And then the lastly was just the proposed highlights. So we are setting to go to the 2%. The inclusion of the 2% with the cost of the average homeowner would be anywhere between $54 to $127, and that was based off of an assessed home of anywhere between $300,000 and $700,000. We are still trying to implement replacing the Chromebooks, so continuously going on a cycle where we can refresh our devices and get new ones in. The building projects still stand at $930,000. And also, we are still including the replacement. Again, another cycle we like to do is the replacement of the 5-passenger buses and the 2 vans, which we've been doing for quite some time now. And you did get a new revenue and tax levy page sent to you. Again, when those numbers change, you'll get new sheets for your budget binders for that as well. So again, this is just the tentative budget that we're approving tonight. So the final budget is going to have a different number than what's being approved tonight due to what I just explained with the Chapter 44 tax impact. So I'll open this up to anybody who has any questions. I did bring my budget binder. If anybody has any further questions in detail about the budget before we vote on it, or if anybody would like to discuss the memo, I even brought my assistant P. I brought extra ammunition for this.
So when you explain it and we don't understand, then Chris can explain it. We'll hear it differently.
If I just on a side note, I just want to thank you and Chris for your hard, dedicated work. The amount of work that goes into this. This is your baby. I know this is both of your babies, and I just want to, thank you. Okay, because you really do put a lot into this, and this is, I thank you.
I have a question, if that's okay. Finn, thank you so much for meeting with me on Friday. Thanks for taking your time, because I know how busy things are, especially this time of year. I asked you this privately, but I wanted just to ask here in the in a public forum, so everyone on YouTube can see, because I know there's been questions about the HVAC. So it's more fiscally responsible as a whole long term if we get the HVAC systems in with the air conditionings and using the window units, correct?
Right, so we did explore a few options when going into this. We had a complete analysis done through engineering firms as far as what would be the most efficient way of doing this. Okay. They proposed individual units such as air dells in the classrooms. We did look into window units, which I believe would cost about $1 million to furnish and install district-wide. And again, those are definitely not energy savers. So the best way to do this was the VRF or the not the VRF, but the split units in the classrooms. VRF, we actually looked at VRF2, that's variable refrigerant cooling, where they would actually just impose new ductwork. Again, that was more labor intensive, which would have cost a lot more. So the most cost efficient and the most cost effective route is the split units for the classrooms.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so real quick, like with the mini splits then, how many units, because if I'm not mistaken, I think like each unit is good for like 4 to 5 rooms, is that right?
So what we're trying to do is based off of, because some of the areas of the buildings are already air conditioned, so they are good for, we're trying to do for 2 rooms, based on the size of the rooms, because certain rooms with the square footage, you don't want to shorten them a little bit, so basically we're trying to do 3. If we can, we're just doing 2, because some of the rooms are larger than others.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Vin, can you talk about the maintenance related to, or lack of maintenance related to the units? Because I know for me that's something that I'm always concerned about, is what is that, okay, that looks good now, but what is that going to look like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? So can you share with that?
So like all other fixed assets, they all depreciate over time, so we have to upkeep them. They do come with manufacturer warranties. We usually do try to get extended service warranties, but the maintenance on them should be fairly lower than an actual air dull unit where you actually have to roll out and clean, where VRFs where you actually have to blow out the ductwork to to clear the air. From a maintenance standpoint, we do conduct a maintenance cycle where our B&G director does put together a maintenance plan of what needs to be done when. We have HVAC technicians on site who are always working, and they are tremendous when keeping up with the filter schedules and things like that. So I think we are in good shape to handle these. We do have these in district now where we handle them now.
And the ability for us to manage them in-house we're not anticipating any additional cost to that, right? So we already have the people, they already are trained, they know how to do it.
Usually if there's any types of extended service warranties available that exclude the manufacturers, we try to just get those just to be safe, which always usually just includes the materials, because right now parts are very hard to find. So we do have the staff in-house, though, to handle all of the basic needs and necessities, whether it's replacing the filters, repairing them. We have our own shop where we have parts in-house as well to repair.
That's great. And just one last thing, because you can tell this is my little passion project, right? The other thing that was great about these units is the fact that they also help clean the air. And you know, I know we like to think that COVID's going away because we're not wearing masks, but it's not. So can you talk a little bit about the additional health benefits to these units in the classrooms?
Well, right now we see a lot of medical notes come in where we have to make accommodations for HVAC. This will kind of alleviate that, where it'll give everybody an opportunity to have access to fresh airflow. We did install the iWaves as well last year, which added another HEPA filter in there to actually give you proper airflow and cleaner airflow. So those were installed district-wide. So, and again, areas like Dugan where we've had known to have heating issues, this provides another layer of heat on top of the heat that's already going into the building.
Right, because they're both air conditioning, but they also have heat as an option as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kathleen?
I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank Chris because she's actually here in person, and Vin. I took up a lot of your time, and I asked a ton of questions. And if you didn't have the answers, you guys got back to me like 1, 2, 3. So very appreciated. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Same, I'm jumping in there because I tortured your life slightly, but I appreciate it. So thank you for both of you.
Just a question real quick. For the, like being that we're going to be taking this on with like this much new equipment, I know you had mentioned extended warranties and all of that, but is it possible to maybe, I don't know like how the insurance policies are built, but maybe look at getting like an equipment breakdown rider on them? This way, if there was something to happen, you know, you're looking at a number of, you know, systems. It's not like one central system, you know, it's like 40 systems.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
so.
definitely a good idea. And, you know, we have our general umbrella policy where we usually have just a $5,000 to $10,000 deductible. That usually only covers, though, like in Memorial, we had a flood over the summer where that was able to go through insurance, where we would be able to replace everything that was damaged. As far as just getting them covered, we can definitely look into that. I just don't know if the underwriter would actually take that as their responsibility rather than the district's, unless something were to happen, whether it be an external event or an accidental event. But that's definitely something I'll look into.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, Aldo. Maybe a rider of some sort, right?
Yeah, there's like equipment breakdown, you know, in the event of a catastrophic malfunction, you know, typically then the insurance would step in if it's a covered loss. You know?
Yeah, and I'll look in our current policy, see if we actually have that.
We actually may already have it, you know,
Right.
and it would be on the building portion, not on the liability.
Sweet. Any other questions?
I had a question on
Yes,
line
Kristen.
5 or 6. Do I ask that like later, or is this just HVAC?
For
Like transfers and list of bills?
is that the financial
I'll
and
wait.
business? Yeah, that's
Okay.
next year. Yeah, we're not there yet. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
We're good? Okay. So then we're going to move forward. And Christina, now, can you please read financial and business operation matters?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, adoption of tentative 2022-2023 school year budget. 2, capital reserve withdrawal, other capital projects. 3, withdrawal from maintenance reserve for HVAC improvement project. 4, travel and related expense reimbursement. 5, transfers. 6, list of bills. 7, secretary monthly reconciliation reports. 8, harassment, intimidation, bullying, HIB report. 9, travel. 10, donation. 11, 12, and 13, donation. 14, approval of shared services agreement. 15, approval of agreement, United Therapy Solutions. 16, amended agreement, United Therapy Solutions. 17, non-public school requests for security purchases under the non-public security and program, aid program, for the 2021-2022 school year. 18, amended resolution, HC ESC contract purchase, Northeastern Interior Services LLC for general construction repairs, carpentry, and related services for the 21-22 school year. 19, CCESC contract purchase, CM3 Building Solutions, Inc. for security equipment. 20, award of bid, HVAC improvement project. 21, award of merit pay, 2021-2022 school year employment contract for superintendent of schools. 22, amended resolution, ESC NJ contract purchase, CDW-G Technology Supplies and Services for the 2021-2022 school year. 23, state contract purchases. I so move.
Thank you, Christina.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did that on purpose.
No, I do it in order. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Good, Kathleen. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes? Kathleen, okay.
You go first. Go ahead.
Oh, wait.
Oh, was it you?
No, she just seconded.
Oh, okay. I'm too tired. I can't talk now. Okay. I had a question first. Number 5 with transfers. I saw on there the transfer list. It seems like we're transferring money from BCBA salary, Dugan Roof Project, copier lease, to the tune of $156,000 for ESS subs. In addition to that, I saw there was a bill for $8,100 and change, and an additional $80,000 again for subs. So I was just wondering, this seems like a lot of money for subs in just a short amount of time. And I was under the assumption that ESS would be saving us money, which it may be, but I just kind of wanted to get some more information into why is this such a large number for such a short period of time?
So we actually really got hit very hard covering Miss Preps, paying out Miss Preps for having them cover classrooms. So that actually added up a lot, where if you'll go back to other meetings as well, we were doing transfers for substitutes, just because we were exhausting those accounts so quickly from covering with Miss Preps. The ESS bill was about $6,000 for covered teachers. If you were to equate that to Miss Preps, it would have been about a little over 13 grand for that same time period. So we are starting to see a savings. We can't control when certain employees go out. We just know that we need to cover it. So we are able to do it that way efficiently. We have been seeing that it's been working out quite well. At first, it looked like it was a little snail pace, but people are starting to get more familiar with the process, and we're starting to see more jobs being covered. As far as the reallocations go, under the chart of accounts, when you budget for substitutes in-house, they have to go under salary account lines, which is your 100s, and then when you start using a sub-service, services usually have to go into the 300 or the 500. So that's where you see the transfers going into, to start covering for that, offset that service.
But that $156,000, that's for just a couple of weeks?
That's just to anticipate, that's 4 weeks.
That-
4 months, sorry.
Oh,
That's
it's
just-
4 months?
Yeah, that's just to anticipate, no.
It's like, wow, that's a lot of money.
So basically,
Sucks.
why we're doing that now is so we don't have to continue to make a transfer every board meeting, because they have to go to the 500 account line.
So it's going into a fund?
It's going into the 500 line to cover us for the rest of the school year under
Understood.
ESS. And then the other transfer was to cover the salaries that we already had to pay out from the Miss Preps.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Was there was there a reduction though in the amount being paid out in salaries because of, now that we're not paying the subs directly and they're being paid by ESS? Shouldn't one go down as one goes up, or did we not see that?
Well, if teachers go on a a paid sick leave, if they take a sick day, they're covered. It's not a deduct day. If teachers go on a non-paid day, then that's where we would see the savings offset. But unfortunately, if a teacher does take a sick day, then they are getting compensated for that day as well, compared to, and we would have to pay for the sub, just like how we did in the past when they were in-house as well.
Right, okay. I'm just saying though, the amount being paid to the subs, that you're saying now it's coming out from a different account, so we're reallocating, basically we're moving funds just to cover.
Right, so
money
that
that's
transfer you see, like for example, the 156 to the 11000213 account, that 500 object code, that's basically for purchase services, where if we were in-house, it would just be 100, which is salaries. So really, we're just reallocating to put it in the correct account so we don't get in trouble with our auditors.
Okay, thank you.
I have another question.
Who has a question? Christine, go.
Me again. Number 6, list of bills. So, one thing I just wanted to make sure I understood. I already spoke with Vin just publicly about Pritchard Associates. I saw that there was $408,642.44. I asked Vinny what this goes for, what it's allocated for, and this is outsourcing for custodians. So, and this is just for 1 month for 39 custodians, day and night. That's correct?
Was it 2 or 1? We'll double check for you. It might have been 2 months. Actually, I think it is 2 for 2 months, because I think the bill is about 180 something thousand and change, and then we also are in a shared service for the township where we pay the township and they reimburse us for their services as well. So I believe that's 2 months. So I might have mistaken myself when I said 1.
And so this is more cost effective than, let's say, paying people in-house with benefits. This is better for us?
It still is, yes. We analyze that every year just to make sure, because the gap slowly does start to marginalize where it may be beneficial to bring them back in-house. But right now, we're still not there yet. We're still seeing a savings by going out of district, because we have to assume that when we bring them back in-house, worst case scenario, you're having 39 custodians, which Pritchard gives us now, all taking family benefits. That's the most cost that you would have to the district. So that's how we analyze that.
Thank you, Vinny.
You're welcome. We'll double check too. I think it might be 2 months right there.
Thank you, Vin. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Aldo?
So how long have we been outsourcing the custodians?
Since I've been here, but it may be
before me. So it's at least 10.
Okay.
Do you remember, Chris?
It's probably around 10, if not a little longer.
Mrs. Bono confirms it's 10 to 12 years. Thank you, Mrs. Bono.
Thank you, Mrs. Bono.
She'll be here all night.
Thank you, Ms. Bono. Anybody else? I see none. We had a second. What? Yeah, I was second. Yeah, okay. So, Vin, can you roll call, please?
roll call vote. Mrs. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Petruno?
This is for everything?
Everything under FMB,
Everything
yep.
that I read.
So 1 through 23.
Am I able to break it down, or can I give you?
You're able to vote yes on certain numbers and then no on other numbers.
Okay, then, so I'm gonna, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so yes to everything except for 1, 21, and that's it. So 1 and 21. 1 and 21, no. Everything else, yes.
Okay. So 1 and 21, no. Everything else, yes. Ms. Piernick?
Yes.
Mrs. Shrem?
Yes.
Mrs. Strafasi?
I'm abstaining on numbers 15 and 16, yes to everything else.
Okay. Mrs. Amster?
no to number 1, 2, 3, 20, and 21, and yes to everything else.
Okay, Mrs. Rosado?
No to 1 and 21, yes to everything else.
And Dr. Heller?
Yes. So please allow me to recognize the following donations. First, let's start with Scope for donating $310 for 30 copies of Timmy's Story, a story about autism and friendship. And then again with Scope for donating $100 to the Pet Treats with a Purpose program. Thank you very much. I'd also like to recognize Staples on Route 9 in Englishtown, Marlboro Plaza, for donating 684 school supplies valued at $3,420. Thank you. And our Marlboro Township Marlboro Township Police Department for donating 3 pallets of hand sanitizing wipes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to those mentioned. It takes a community, and we appreciate the generosity. On behalf of our students and staff, thank you again. Thank you. So we're going to move forward with Curriculum Matters. Susie, can you please read Curriculum Matters?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolution for approval. 1, interscholastic athletic competition, spring sports 21-22 school year. I so move.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Who is that? Jill? I have Jill for that. Any discussion? I see none. Vin, roll call, please.
Mrs. Amster?
Yes.
Mrs. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Petruno?
Yes.
Ms. Piernick?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosado?
Yes.
Mrs. Strafasi?
Yes.
Mrs. Shrem?
Yes.
And Dr. Heller?
Yes. Jill, can you please read Personnel Matters?
The superintendent of schools submits the following resolutions for approval. 1, retirements. 2, resignations. 3, suspension with pay. 4, stipend, longevity instructional assistant. 5, medical evaluation. 6, curriculum after-school reading program. 7, curriculum hackathon facilitator. 8, curriculum turnkey training grades 1 through 8. 9, curriculum turnkey training kindergarten. 10, stipends, student information and data service manager. 11, stipends, special services, psychological evaluations coverage. 12, stipend, after-school social skills program certificated staff. 13, stipend, after-school social skills program non-certificated staff. 14, stipend, substitute after-school detention. 15, defensive driving course. 16, student observations. 17, substitute teacher. 18, substitute instructional assistant. 19, substitute nurse. 20, paid medical disability leaves. 21, unpaid leaves of absence. 22, amended resolution, leave dates.
There's the number 23.
There is a number 23.
Right here.
Oh, that's right. Thank you,
Thank you, Kathleen.
And 23, administrative leave with pay. I so move.
Excellent. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Susie. I have Susie a second. Any discussion? Okay, none. Vin, roll call, please.
Okay, so before we take the roll call, we just have some read-ins.
Oh, I thought we were going to do that afterwards.
No, read-ins for
okay.
edits to the
Yep,
personnel
sorry about
matters.
that.
So on page, let's see. So page, action item number 6, curriculum after-school reading program. If you go to page 27 at the bottom. So where it says Michelle Piscatelli, who will be replacing her is Nicolette Silviano. So it'll be Nicolette Silviano in that role. The next read-in is for page 34, action item number 21, unpaid leaves of absences. So Mrs. Balawa, actually the date will be April 26th, 2022, not April 1st. So that'll be changed to April 26th. And that is it for the edits. So I will take the roll call vote now.
Okay, thank you so much, Vin.
Okay, Mrs. Amster?
Yes.
Mrs. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Petruno?
Yes.
Ms. Piernick?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosado?
Yes.
Mrs. Shrem?
Yes.
Mrs. Strafasi?
Yes.
And Dr. Heller?
Yes. Mr. Ballone, do you have any letters to read?
I do.
Thank you.
The first one are retirement comments for Beth Glassman. Beth Glassman is retiring after serving Marlboro schools for 22 years as a devoted and admired special education teacher. She began her teaching career in Brooklyn, where she served as a disabilities teacher for 5 years. She joined MTPS as a special education resource room teacher at Marl, and 5 years later moved to Middle, where she has remained for 17 years. Throughout her tenure at Marlboro Middle, Beth has served students as the special education resource room teacher and as the in-class resource teacher. She is a born teacher. She is kind, patient, collaborative, and professional in every sense of the word. Recognizing a perfect fit, Beth has been assigned to 6th grade students throughout her many years at MMS. Her kind and gentle manner has assisted numerous students in their introduction to middle school and its programs. Students and parents alike appreciate her kindness and have come to feel at ease knowing that Mrs. Glassman is overseeing them during their new experience as a middle schooler. Beth is looking forward to her retirement and having time to play tennis. She's also looking forward to spending time with her husband Steve, her children Marissa and Garrett, and her 4 grandchildren, Bennett, Emerson, Gavin, and Nora. Congratulations, Beth, on beginning a well-deserved And the second retirement comments for Daniel Minocchio. Mr. Minocchio started his career as a Marlboro Township bus driver in November of 2005. During his career, he's covered a number of runs from various schools. Dan has been proficient and thorough in his job duties year after year. His ability to establish an excellent rapport with the students, parents, and peers has made him a mainstay in the transportation department. Mr. Minocchio will be sorely missed, not only for his flexibility and adaptability, but for the kindness he shows to anyone he encounters. Dan did his runs daily with kindness and a smile, which will be hard to replace. As Dan starts his retirement, we wish him much health and happiness. He will be missed by everyone in the transportation department.
Thank you very much for your dedication, and that's 40 years of being in education, so thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to move forward to, okay, so Kathleen, can you please read Policy Development and Community Relations?
The Superintendent of Schools submits the following resolution for approval. 1, Buildings and Grounds 2022-2023 School Year Holiday Calendar. I so move.
Do I have a second? Kathleen? Oh, not Kathleen. You are Kathleen. Christina. Do I have any discussion? No? Okay. I see none. So Vin, roll call, please.
Sure. Mrs. Shrem?
Yes.
Mrs. Strafasi?
Yes.
Mrs. Branch?
Yes.
Mr. Petruno?
Yes.
Ms. Piernick?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosado?
Yes.
Mrs. Amster?
Yes.
And Dr. Heller?
Yes. Now we're going to move on to committee reports. You may not have anything, but I'm just going to ask. Susie, Building Grounds and Beautification?
Oh, I reported at the last meeting.
I'm just going to go
Okay.
through the,
Okay.
yeah. Jess, Communications?
No.
Okay. Christina, Curriculum?
None to report.
Okay, policy, nothing to report. Safety, security, and counseling. Jen reviewed that at the last meeting. Kathleen, special education.
I reviewed it at the last meeting as well.
Yeah, just want to respectfully give it to everybody. So we're going to go to organization delegates. Kathleen or Jill, anything from the Freehold Regional High School District?
Yeah, their last meeting was on March 11th. They tentatively adopted the 22-23 budget of $208.9 million. They were expecting a state cut of about $6.6 million, but got cut about $3.5 million instead, so go Freehold Regional. The district spends about $3,000 less per pupil than the average New Jersey high school. So that's a good thing. Their next meeting is scheduled for April 7th. Last week, the week of 3/14, all juniors across the district took the NJ GPA standardized test. And on a personal note, but in the Freehold Regional District, Colts Neck High School, ROTC, will be leaving for National Navy Championships in Pensacola, April 1st and 2nd. Go Navy.
Nice job. Thank you. Christina or Aldo, anything on Marlboro Township Alliance?
So they were supposed to have a meeting on March 10th. They got moved to this week, March 24th at 9:15 at the Rec Center. I'll keep you posted at the next meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jill, anything from the Marlboro County School Board Association?
Yes, Jen apologized for not being here tonight, but she asked me to let you know that there has been no date set for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Trish or Jess, anything from the municipal government?
Yes, I have that road construction notices have resumed, so please be sure to sign up for the township emails to get your up-to-date information on the road closures. To that end, this week's road construction notice alerted residents that the recycling center is going to be closed on Saturday, March 26th, while work is being done on Lotta Burke Way. Brush collection is nearing completion, and the DPW will begin bagged leaf collection as per the recycling calendar. If you need to, you can get your free leaf bags through the link at the Marlboro Township website. The Scrambled Egg Extravaganza will be held on April 9th from 12 to 2. This event is an egg hunt, inflatables, petting zoo, and special guests. It's free. You don't have to register to attend. The Veterans and Volunteers Committee is also going to be holding the Memorial Day Parade on Sunday, May 22nd at 1 p.m. They're looking for community groups, clubs, and businesses to participate. You can email jkushner@marlboropd.org for more information. Your dog and cat licenses are required each year, and they must be paid by April 30th to avoid the late fee. So please do that. The free rabies clinic will be held on May 14th, and spring and summer programs and events, including all of these things that I mentioned, are being announced via email, and residents are encouraged to register by visiting marlboro-nj.gov and entering their email in the blue box so that you can receive all of these updates from the town.
Oh, thank you very much. Aldo or Kathleen, anything on NJSBA?
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Susie or Trish, anything from PTO, PTA, and SCOPE?
We have a meeting next week.
Okay, thank you. Susie, anything from the Marlboro Educational Foundation?
That's not me.
I have.
You
I
do?
have it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Jen asked that I tell you that the Wizards are coming. It's always a fun event. So it's May 19th. More information to follow. Now that things are beginning to look up, the fundraisers are going to start to begin again for the MEF. So watch for the upcoming Mahjong night, medium night. That's always a big hit. Kids painting night. Please support the MEF.
Thank you. And Jess or Christina, anything on CPAG?
Congratulations to Angela Wasatsky, Carrie Jankowski, and Robin Bornstein, who are the new co-leaders of CPAG. You can email them at mtps.cpag@gmail.com. There was a 2-day webinar hosted by CPAG with the Special Parents Advocacy Network on an overview of parent rights, IEP process, and involvement of special education for the past 2 days. As Dr. Hibbs mentioned, there will be a viewing for special education students only at Marlboro Middle School's Aladdin Show on March 29th from 2:45 to 4:15. It's the first time an event like this has been scheduled, so kudos to you. And on April 7th, Jessica Birch, BCBA, will be speaking about what ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, is what therapy looks like, and the role of a BCBA, Board Certified Behavior Analyst, and RBT, Registered Behavioral Therapist for your child. Congratulations to, and I also am reporting out on SCOPE. Congratulations to Christy Hutchings on helping to restart SCOPE. This past Monday, which was yesterday, there was Crazy Sock Day to honor World Down Syndrome Day. As Dr. Hibbs also mentioned, April is Autism Awareness Month. Stay tuned for Spirit Week activities to celebrate neurodiverse people. SCOPE is currently working on Walk for Change with administration and building leaders. The fundraiser is scheduled for April 14th with a rain date of April 26th. More information to follow. There is an assembly in April with Tim Rohr, and books have been donated to all of the schools. SCOPE is also sponsoring the Pet Treats with a Purpose at the middle school, and a website to be established soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to school liaisons. Aldo, anything from Asher Holmes?
Nothing to report this month.
Okay. Jess, anything from Abbott?
Too many activities to name. Wonderful activities.
Okay. Trish from Defino?
Yes, sorry.
It's okay.
I have notes. Okay. This is a lot too. I'll try to be really.
Do you want me to jump in so you can find it?
No, that's I just found
good.
it.
Okay.
The Read Across America was very successful. If you're looking for books to add to your personal library, they liked I Build a School and Sofia Valdez, Future Prez as books to add to your collection. They're working on their Blue Ribbon School submission. We mentioned that before, and they're confident that they will get it. Mass Choice went well in their school. Students were kind to each other, and sorry. I'm sorry. This is a lot. Mrs. K encouraged the students to take part in a Be Kind or Active challenge. They need 59 more students to take part. The goal is that they'll win some gym equipment if that actually happens for the school. Also, I think we already mentioned that they've, was it 15,000 or 12,000 for 15,000? It was 12,000 at the meeting, so it went up to 15,000, which was awesome for the American Heart Association. Kids and principals and the vice principal received certificates of kindness, and we're very appreciative of that. Teacher appreciation is the first week of May. The class will have, the school's going to have class photos this year. They're not going to make it into the actual yearbook, but you will get them, which is really fun. The BMX is coming back, and everybody's really excited about that. There's a buy one, get one book fair that's happening on June 6th here. Their March 24th is paint night with Dr. D. It's sold out, but virtual is still an opportunity if you wanted to register that way. Lips Inc. is coming back April 29th. Spirit Wear is happening. Chocolate sales, they're still open. Oh no, wait, what's the date today? I'm sorry, that just closed. Sorry about that. You'll have to buy your chocolates elsewhere. No chocolate for you anymore. The fun run's going to happen on May 6th. Field day is scheduled for June 17th, and they are bringing back the spring concert set for May 18th. So a lot going on at that school.
Thank you so much. Jill, anything from Dugan?
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
You know what? I think I last time I forgot to mention there was a really cool outdoor movie night, which was chilly but still fun. And we just finished our book fair, which was very successful as always, and I personally spent a lot of money. And then we have Project Dugan coming up, which is on Friday the 25th, where it's going to also contain professional music and lights. And then afterwards, there's like a dance party afterwards. School Spirit Day is this Friday, so wear your green or yellow or your Dugan gear. Dr. Hibbs could probably speak to this more because my brain is foggy, but I know we got a grant for the STEM fair, which was really cool.
Is it just through Dugan?
Yes. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm really foggy.
I'm not.
Right?
That one's not ringing bells for me.
Right? Thank you. Okay, so now I'm looking at my Dugan crew here. I'm like, am I crazy? No, we got a grant, which was really awesome. So we're going to have so our STEM fair is going to be even better than ever. So that's really exciting. We love grants. Everybody loves grants. And so that'll be Monday, April 11th, and the yearbooks are on sale. And I think that is about it, right, everybody? Okay, thanks, Peanut Gallery. You guys have my back. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate that. Susie, Marlboro Elementary.
Okay, so we have a lot of the same that everyone was saying. We have a lot of great stuff going on with Author Day. I just was looking at my list, and we have, so many cool things. Author Day, we're talking about the outdoor movie night, but one thing that I want to bring up that's really unique to Morel is that this school year, 21-22, is our 50th anniversary. They kicked off in 71-72 as the first full school year for Morel. So this is the 50th anniversary, and we're going to have a big birthday party. And we're just starting to plan the birthday party. So I have some notes. We're still flushing it out right now. They're talking about, the tentative date that they're talking about is June 17th, which is our field day. I know you just mentioned, Trish, that it's also your field day, but it'll be in the evening. It'll be about 6 to 8 o'clock with a barbecue. We're still fleshing out the details. There's a lot of fun facts that's going around the school. They have announcements about it on the morning news. There's a memorial monument that's inside a rebuilt memorial garden that's going up in the back. And we're gonna get some cool swag that's been designed, and we're gonna start to sell that. So I'll keep you posted on that. And one really cool thing that happened at the very start of the school year is all the kids went outside. They were asked to wear a white T-shirt, and they were placed in the shape of a 50. And there was a drone up above that took a photo. So more news on where and how to see that cool photo. But everyone in the school now got to participate in the 50th, and they're going to have a lot more, just fun activities surrounding the 50th. So when there's more details, I'll keep you posted, but I think it's just super cool that we're celebrating our 50th anniversary. That's
awesome.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you for that information. 50 years, wow. That's fantastic. Trish, anything from Marlboro Memorial?
Yes. We talked about the hackathon, but they have their school drama club production that's coming up this weekend. It's Shrek, the musical, Junior. And it'll be here this Friday, March 25th at 7. And they also have 2 shows on Saturday, one at 2 p.m. and then the evening show at 7. So that's this weekend if you want to go see it.
Thank you. Kathleen, Marlboro Middle School?
The next meeting is May 10th at 9:45. They have scheduled a telescope night. I forgot the date, is in April, but I'll forward you at the next meeting. They're also currently running a fundraiser, Krispy Kreme donuts. Get your donuts. As always, they have a wonderful website, marlboromiddle.ptoboard.com. If you have any questions, they're very responsive, and all their activities are nicely posted.
Wait, did you say a telescope night?
Telescope
Yes,
night.
what's that?
So with COVID, I feel like they haven't done it, and it's always weather dependent. So if it's going to be low cloud cover, then they have to push it. It's not even just for rain. So they have telescopes in the back, like not like the ones you buy at whatever, but really good ones, and you get to see
And do they have someone explaining what you're looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, well, he can't speak right now, but my husband used to chair it, and when Connor's back, people have already reached out saying you're going to do it again next year.
It's
right?
a great event.
That's his
Anyone
thing.
can come to it? What's the date of that?
I'll get back to you. It's in April. I don't have. It's offhand. I don't know it.
But
But
you have to be careful because it never happens.
It never
the first night,
happens.
right?
It never happens. Usually, all the years that I've been here as a parent, it usually doesn't happen the first night.
Or fourth time,
It's
and you always
usually
check the
multiple
schedule.
checking. They have to
Will
do
you
it.
keep us posted on
100%.
Telescope? Can
Yeah.
you also keep us posted on the Krispy Kremes and how we
Again, if you want to buy, marlboromiddle.ptoboard.com.
And you can have the Krispy Kreme while you watch Stars too. I mean,
that's awesome.
But no chocolate anymore, so sorry.
Yeah. Christina, Robertsville, please.
Yes, Robertsville has a lot going on. On Monday, March 21st, for World Down Syndrome Day, they celebrated with a Rock Your Socks event as a reminder that all types, shapes, and sizes of the same thing can be unique in their own way, and to just celebrate our diversity and inclusion. That's a wonderful event. The PTO also is amazing. They sponsored a St. Patrick's Day breakfast with green bagels and all sorts of goodies for the Robertsville rainbow of teachers and amazing staff. They did such a beautiful job. I'm sure they were so appreciative of your hard work. Third thing is they have a cereal drive ongoing. Send in your children with a box of cereal. They're going to be lining up and setting up a domino effect down the hallway, which will be pretty cool for the kids to see. Autism and Disability Month. If you are interested in a kindness bracelet for $1, please send that in as well to support your school. And last but not least, Krispy Kreme donuts, which I won't even tell you how many boxes I'm buying. I'm just saying. They're raising money for the PTO. If you are interested, your last day to send in your money is this Friday, 3/25. Order forms were sent home with your child. If you have any questions, you can email robspto@gmail.com. Thank you.
Okay, with all this talk about chocolates
we
and
like to
donuts,
eat.
I am starving now for sweets. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Anyone have, we're going to move on to old business. Anyone have old business?
Yeah, actually,
Aldo?
I'm sorry, Randy. I had a question. I actually had a couple questions.
With old business or from
No, from previous. I apologize. I probably should have asked them. Well, first off, I heard a couple things with donations from Scope, and that's awesome. But I truly appreciate them. But what is Scope? I'm sorry. I just don't know what it is.
You want to take it? So Scope is Scope is not CPAG. CPAG is the Special Education Parents Advisory Group. Scope is a separate entity, essentially all by itself. Kathleen, you want to help me here? It's all parent driven that come and.
Sorry. Scope is the equivalent of a Marl, Robertsville, PTO, PTA.
Yeah.
I was never a part of it, but they do have dues. That's how it was back in the day. I don't know if Scope does currently do that, but that's what they did when I was an original parent here. But that's all I know about it. Sorry.
Yeah, and they still fundraise.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, they also fundraise.
They've been dormant for a while, and I think now we're reforming.
So it's a PTO for special education parents to support special education students in the district.
All right.
And it's not just like here, other school districts have them too.
Got it. Okay.
Just like we have PTAs.
Thank you, ladies.
Got it. Thank you for the clarification. And then the other thing was, and I apologize again. I should have posed my question earlier, but I had a couple questions about the agenda item, and please don't take any disrespect to it, Dr. Hibbs. It's just about the merit pay.
Sure.
How exactly does the merit pay come? Like, can you just explain to me how it comes to fruition? Like the goals, like is that who creates the goals? How does that work?
So the goals were created last summer, and I don't recall specifically when the board gave their approval. That's how that process works. Tonight, what you voted no on was the completion of the merit goal.
Right. So, but the board approved it last summer, but who created the goal?
I started them. I created them.
So you create your own goal?
Yeah.
We approve it.
It's not uncommon. Yeah.
And then the county super.
The law says that that's how the goals are created. The superintendent starts the goals, and then a conversation with the board occurs.
Okay.
And then the board says, this is what we think the goal should be.
And then the county superintendent has to approve them as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So it goes, so you create them, the board approves them, and then the county superintendent
Reapproves them.
Right,
Yeah, he
reapproves
wants
Well,
to
the
make
board
sure-
can weigh in too.
Yeah.
So the board can weigh in. It's not like he just creates them and then we approve them. We discuss it, and then we approve, then we vote and approve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they were modified by suggestions. Yeah.
We talk about it. So, like, he might be the one that creates it,
Okay.
but then we have a discussion about it as well, collectively.
And we
The
did,
board
right,
does.
there was modifications, right? I know in the years that I've been here, we do modify based on board and discussion, board feedback discussion.
So then the four certificates of completion was to state that you met that goal. That's, if I'm correct, it's a quantitative goal.
That one, I
Correct.
believe, was, yeah.
So then, how do we measure? Is it just measured by just completing the courses, like the webinars?
Yeah.
How does that relate to the district? Like how you're taking, I guess I go at it with a teacher lens. So I know, like, as a teacher, I'm evaluated by my principals.
Sure.
And so I have, like, specific and measurable goals where they walk in, I have a learning target, they need to see a lesson plan on how I'm going to reach that learning target. They're going to ask students and question them. I have formative assessments. Those assessments will indicate whether I can meet those goals or not. So if you attended the webinars, which was your piece of this goal, how does that relate then to what you're doing, like, for the district? Is it a personal goal or is it a district goal? I guess is my question.
Neither. It's a AmeriGoal. So after I take the webinars, I take the information from those and then put them into different places where it makes sense. Administrative meetings, I deploy that information. But it's not a personal goal because I have those too, and it's not a district goal. We have those as well.
So it's separate from that?
Yeah, totally separate, yeah.
It's a
That goal, and I think that it was included in the green notes, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, that goal was to complete the webinars.
Right. So I don't want to get too into whether the goal was completed or not out here because it's a personnel matter. So we could talk about the goals. They are public and everything. They're attached to the contract. But if we're talking about whether we think they were met or whatever.
Oh, no, I'm not saying, I was just
Yeah,
asking for
no,
clarification on that
I just
process.
want to make sure we're careful. That's all.
Absolutely.
So, I'm sorry, then, what's his name?
Joe.
Hi, Joe. It is public then, like, the information is public as far as,
The goals are public. They have to be approved at a public meeting.
Okay.
Every year. Every year the board meets and gets these goals together, right? So the superintendent every year puts these goals together. The board discusses them. Then they are approved and sent to the county for reapproval.
okay, so this was done last year, just because I'm, like, I'm,
Yeah,
you
you'll
know.
do it too.
Okay.
Summer.
This happens over the summer.
And how does it, is there like how does it compare to what other districts, like goals that are set for their superintendent? The only reason I ask is, I'm a numbers person and I'm looking at it like, basically by the numbers. So, 3%, 3.33%, whatever it is, it comes out to a significant amount of money for taking, for taking webinars.
Well, so the law breaks down how much each goal should be worth. So the total amount of goals, there's 5 goals, and the total is 15%, so it's broken down that way. So each goal is worth 3 1/3.
Well, no, I think there's 3 at 3 1/3 and 2 at 2 1/2.
So, and you can modify it from there. That's the maximum of the goals, right? So it's a discussion, again, between the superintendent and the board every year about how much each goal should be worth.
Okay. And
the
how
max
does it?
is 3 1/3, and that's why some of them are 3 1/3 because they're.
Oh, okay, the
board
max
says
is- I got you.
We think that should be worth the max, and some are a little bit less. And each goal is different for each district. So districts all over the state have their own goals. I know of all kinds of different goals where,
Right,
you
so-
look at that and be like, what do you know?
Yeah,
Doesn't
I mean,
apply to us.
that's ultimately what I was trying to figure out, because it just seems like, but I'm not trying to insinuate that you don't deserve it, so please don't take it that way. It's just, it seems like for webinars, almost $7,000 is a lot of money for,
But remember, that's what the goal is. So that's what the board decided that the goal should be at the time.
Jill, did you have something?
Yeah, and just, on that part when Aldo was asking what different districts do, my understanding from last summer, if memory serves me well, is some superintendents, it's tied into like the pensions and benefits. Am I right, Dr. Hibbs?
Yeah.
And one of the nice things that Dr. Hibbs did do with the AmeriGoals is he's actually saving the district money because it's not tied into that pension. So it's actually saving the district money the way it was structured. Other districts would actually pay more because it's tied in to the pension.
okay, so.
Just because I know you're like trying to understand, because that was something,
Yeah,
because I was in your shoes last year, and that
Right.
was something that was explained to me that I didn't know. So there you go.
Okay, so, and then, but does the merit pay get tied into the next year's?
No.
No, it doesn't, okay. And so how often, so this was one merit, these four certificates, these four completions were for one merit, and then there'll be, how many, like, so 5 total through the year? And all 5 are set by you and approved by the board, and then the county super?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. I appreciate the information.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to move on to new business. Anyone have new business? I see none. So we are, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move to public speaking. So, our last public speaking. Those who wish to speak, these computers. Those who wish to speak should state their full name and place of residence. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Please use the timer in front to be mindful of your time. Members of the public should be respectful and avoid back and forth or debate with administration, professionals, or board members responding to the inquiry or comment. We will respond when necessary once the individual has completed their statements. Again, no back and forth, be respectful and civil. School board members will withhold comment until after public comments. Vin.
Sure. First up is Mrs. Bonnie Gabazon. Okay, she's here. Next up is Mrs. Farabono.
I wish I had that energy. I know. Farrah's like writing out.
Farabono, 26 Nashua Drive. I'd like to give a shout out to my husband who's been texting me at home on YouTube. Fantastic. Everybody say hi to Dan Bono. No. Good evening, Dr. Heller, members of the board, Dr. Hibbs, parents, fellow community members, my fellow colleagues, my fabulous PTO who always supports us. Thank you so much. I usually come, as some of you may remember, every year to speak to you about the budget and going to CAP, and I just have to thank you for not forcing me to remind you how valuable a coupon is when we go to CAP and we want to pass a referendum and we need that extra money. So thank you so much, because everything that we do really does help the students of Marlboro. And I also wanted to clarify, because I know we had a little back and forth. It was May of 2006, 2007 that the board decided to outsource the custodians, and it went into effect that following year. So it was about 16 years ago. Lifer.
Thank
Peace
you.
out. Have a good one.
Thank you as always. I lost my train of thought. Thank you. It's all good. Vin, please.
Sure. Next up is Mrs. Visotsky.
Good evening, Angela Colby-Visotsky, Markham Drive. I want to thank you again for the special Aladdin performance that's going to be happening for the CPAG members and their families. I think they're really going to enjoy this special type of event. We hope that there's more to come. I also wanted to thank my daughter's class this week. Tomorrow they're going to be doing cupcake wars with another class. So we bought frosting and cookies, and so they're competing with another class. So even though they might think it's kind of fun, they are learning life skills and how to bake and things like that. So I just wanted to say thank you to the teachers. Thanks.
There's a lot of conversation about desserts today, and you guys are killing me. I mean, seriously. But it's for a good. It's all for good causes. Vin.
Sure. Next up is Mrs. Jennifer Arias.
Hello, Jennifer Arias, 8 Hoover Court. So I'm going to beg you and possibly plead with you to find a way to let the community participate when they can't be here. I worked a 12-hour day, I cooked a meal, I left a sick child when a community member from a neighboring town was at the mic as I was listening to this meeting on my phone. She does not speak for me And it is difficult for me to get here to share my voice with you when I work a full-time job, and a very difficult one at that. I'm sure many members of the community work a full-time job, and a very difficult one at that. So I implore you to find a way for those of us who want to have our voice heard, have the opportunity to participate. So my husband thinks I'm a lunatic because I went running out of the house because I wanted to share that with you. Like, I have some concerns about learning loss, which I know is important to many of the people here today. I have some concerns I'd like to share about my son, who just hates reading, period. And some of the stuff that MMS did for him last year in the COVID space just didn't work for my son in the way he learns. He was already in a supplemental, I think it was called Literary Innovations, and they wanted to take away one of his specials, whether it was art or digital design, to have him participate in the RISE program. I declined that opportunity because my child did not want further immersion into a subject that he absolutely hates, and taking away art or digital design, which he absolutely loves. It would have felt more like a punishment than a help for him. So I want to share these things and participate with you guys and have meaningful conversations about how to help my child enjoy reading, because reading is awesome. I love to read, and the fact that I can't bring that out in him hurts me as his mom. Whereas my daughter, she loves to read, so I have two very different children. So I guess the thing I want to leave you with most is please, please, please find a way for those of us who can't get here in person each time to participate in a meaningful way, not just in a complainy one. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Vin?
That is it on both lists, unless would anybody else like to speak? I know I don't love to speak, but...
Hi, Val Mendez, Marlboro Township. I actually just want to say Employee Appreciation Day was March 4th. I know we had another meeting, but there are some people here that you all know are absolutely amazing, and I just wanted to shout them out. Mrs. Bono. If any of you have been there with Mrs. Bono, because I have been, she's probably sick of me at this point. Mrs. Bono at dismissal for the children, okay, because I'm all about entertainment. She actually sings on the mic to the kids about their buses, raps to them, has great stories to energize them and get them on their school buses. So thank you. They come home and they talk all about it, so thank you. Mrs. Jill Green, wonderful. After a year or 2 years of just everything locked down, she just lets us pretty much make everything fun, which is what we're all about. Movie nights and, everything, donut sales. If you want any, let me know. So Mrs. Green is fantastic. Here at Marlboro Memorial, Mrs. Curvin, I just want to say I have a child with an IEP. Thank you, CPAG, Kathleen, Angie, Kerry, Robin, Christy formerly ran it, so thank you everybody for your support. Mrs. Curvin has gone above and beyond for my child. He went from hating and almost failing math to coming home now with 98s, 99s, and 100s. So I want to thank you, Mrs. Curvin. If you're on there and you hear me, I want to thank you. And his case manager, Mrs. Ozarki. She has been so supportive and fantastic. My child actually comes home now feeling good about himself. And today he even shut his door and he said, I'm doing my homework, and I was in shock. I didn't even beg him. So I just want to shout out these wonderful, fantastic teachers, because our kids rely on you and you're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so, wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, Mrs. Bornstein?
What? Oh, you haven't, oh, I didn't, sorry, go.
Good evening, Robin Bornstein, 24 Barn Swallow. I just had a few comments, questions. I just wanted to confirm, because it wasn't mentioned anywhere, that the Read Aloud program is virtual, not in person. Because it just says that it's happening again, but not how it's happening. I wanted to thank you for doing the social skills group. I think it's going to be very beneficial to the students, but I just wanted to know if it's something that's going to be done again, could consideration be given to opening it up to gen ed students? And it doesn't need to be just flat out open it up to the students. It could be maybe teacher recommendation or surveys from the students to see if they'd be interested. Because I think that it's great to put these kids together and expose them to things, but if they're constantly just exposed to special education students, they're really not exposed to they're not exposed to the gen ed population. I mean, I have a son who has 2 gen ed siblings, but they're siblings. That's not real world. And so I think that it would be beneficial to include them in a social skills type group, because even though there is actually a social skills group within the school day, it's just their class. So again, it's just the kids that they're constantly exposed to. So I think having that exposure to a gen ed student would be very beneficial who's not on an IEP or a 504. I also wanted to ask, in regard to therapists, is there any thought to having more therapists on either like a permanent employment or to have as like backups? Because there was a gap, or at least we were told there was a potential gap when there was a leave from one of the therapists, and that could potentially be a huge problem for some of these students. And if there was already a backup therapist readily available and ready to go, we would never have been receiving a letter that there might be a gap in the services. Looking at that same perspective, are there going to be any backup options or being looked into backup options for therapists for ESY? Because I know that there was an issue at the beginning of ESY last year, and hopefully to try to jump the gun now to prevent that issue from happening again. And I just wanted to touch on one thing that Jill had mentioned in regard to Science Fair at Dugan. We did in fact receive a grant. It was a $1,000 grant, which was fantastic. So we're really looking forward to that Science Fair happening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Randy, can I ask Mrs. Bornstein?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to make a motion, and then you'll be able to do it. So I'd like to make a motion to close comments. Do I have a second?
Second.
I don't even know who said that.
Jessica.
Jessica. Okay, there you go. Any discussion? I have none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. Would anybody like to make any comments from the board?
At the Special Education Committee, discussing social skills groups did come up about general education students being models, and that is something that is being looked into for the future. And my question was, what type of therapists were you specifically referencing? Speech therapists, OT, PT, BCBA? Or email me?
I mean, I didn't want to mention anything specific only because then it would be known which it was. But any of them. The issue was related to physical therapy, but a gap in any of the therapists could be a problem for some of these kids. I mean, thankfully the physical therapy spot was filled relatively quickly, but if it had extended out, it could have been a huge problem for these kids. And it would be the same thing with speech or or OT or any of them at this point. So the issue was related to physical therapy, but it would be any of the therapists to make sure we have those backups or anything like that.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else from the board would like to make a comment? Or Kathleen?
Robin, I have it noted here from the same meeting. I don't know if it was changed that the social skills program was going to be from April 27th to May 25th, and I have it written down here in person. I don't know if that's changed, but that's what the note. Oh, okay. It's in person, so that's the notes I have.
Okay. And Jill, did you have something?
No, I was just thinking about what Robin was saying. I know I'm just talking on a broader level. I worked for another school district, and just being on the child study end, it was really frustrating for parents when they didn't have a leave, and it just keeps coming back why, there's ESS and everything. There's just such a shortage. It's really, if you go on NewJerseySchoolJobs.com, you just see all these districts begging for paras, especially therapists. It's just, I'm not making any excuses, and I don't know what the story is, but I have talked to my friends who are also frustrated just living other districts, not just in New Jersey, but in other states. There's a real shortage right now. There just is, and it's unfortunate. It's really sad. It's kids get hurt. But
Can I?
Go.
I
think I know what you're talking about, and I did look into it. I think there's 2 people covering that one position, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
And if I can piggyback off that, our office was working with Dr. Blair and her office extensively for the past few months because of these shortages. We put out a special services RFP that other companies will submit to so we can lock them in and set them up as a vendor. We went down the list to every single one for services that we needed covered, and no one could provide anybody. So we kept trying until we finally were able to find somebody, but I can attest that we were trying around the clock to at least find somebody just to give us coverage. It would be they didn't have a valid criminal history check, or they didn't have this proper certification to enter the school district and give the service. So it has been a challenge as far as staffing goes from contracted agencies.
Did you want to say?
Jump in there. Yeah. So the first question, Robin, read aloud is definitely virtual. Mike, 100% virtual, correct? Yep. Mike, think hard here. I really think that Mrs. Mortar said that we had regular education peers. Do you recall this at the admin meeting? Oh, thank you very much. You rock.
You got to come to the front.
Yeah. So I really thought I had that answer, but I really thought I had it. So peers are there. So hey, wish granted. Gotcha. That's that one. As far as therapists go, or just staffing in general. So this one, if it extended out, it didn't extend out, but I understand your point, and that point could go for really anybody in this district. There's times where we struggle with filling specific things, and that's even with a very broad reach. So you won't see the behind-the-scenes searching that Vin does to put together all the searching. He talked about was it the RFP, Vin, or the bid? What was it?
Yeah, the special services RFP.
Yeah, so it went all the way out. So our goal is to never have anything uncovered, but the reality is sometimes staff have things, right, without going any deeper into that, and we have to navigate that, and sometimes it's not a perfect world for anyone, and we do the very best we can. So as far as having the backup options, so think of it this way generally, and it doesn't work for a psychologist because they have a different pay scale, but just a staff member that starts at $60,000 has roughly a $35-ish, $40,000 benefits package. If each person is worth $100,000, if we keep a bunch of those people on the shelf, there's already an existing budget. You can't just do that. So as far as staffing goes right now, and I just actually sat down very briefly because I think Dr. Blair was going through her projections at the end of this week. I think we're pretty much status quo for what we need for next year. But leaves could happen. They could happen anywhere, and then we simply have to cover and find them. But I'll be happy to have Dr. Blair reach out to all of CPAG to address all of these issues that you brought up, just to discuss them in depth. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Did you guys want?
Thank you.
No? Did you want to make a comment?
Yeah, just real quick to Ms. Arias about the about the meetings. I think it's something that perhaps we should consider, as a board. I don't know what the correct procedure or protocol would be, but, I know that prior to being on the board, I definitely found it useful, when we were able to attend virtually. I don't know if an option like that can be opened back up again, but, if it's something that we can look into, I think it would be fantastic because, there's a handful of people here, but the community is pretty large. I would imagine there'd be some kind of want or need for that type of accommodation. Just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, it's something that we have discussed, both me and Trish, as president and vice president. We have tossed around things. We have looked outside the box. I mean, it's not as simple as turning on a switch. It really is not. There's a lot of logistics that go into it. And in fact, our going into 2021, people who were virtual, for example, board members, they couldn't hear anything. There was a delay. It was not helpful at all. So there's a lot of things going on. We're constantly, because my goal is constant communication. That's important. And so what I'm saying is that the dialogue has never stopped. It's always being discussed. And we do have a communications department. We have a communications committee. They can certainly take it up at their next committee to discuss and come up with some thoughts about that. But I'm open as long as it works for all, and that's always been my position on that. But yeah, so I'll leave it at that. So, anybody else? No? Okay. So I would like to make a motion to, oh, I already did that. So we're going to move on. In fact, this evening, there was supposed to be executive session, but there will not be an executive session. Will not be moving forward.
No.
He doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I want to know something. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so we're not.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
So what am I reading for that? Sorry. Okay, so okay, that's fine. Okay. So can I have a motion to close the meeting? Jill, I have Jill. Do I have a second?
I'll
Trish.
second. There you go.
Do I have any discussion on that? No. Okay. I see none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those are opposed, say no. Okay. The ayes have it. Good night. Be safe. Be healthy.